preventing disaster on a popular Austin road. The new protections the city is adding on 6th Street and what KXAN investigators learned about their similarities to security devices in New Orleans.
A local animal shelter forced to make job cuts. What Austin Pets Alive says is behind their decision.
A strong cold front moves through Central Texas Saturday, but you won't really feel its strongest cold until Sunday. We'll track the temperature drop and an update on precipitation chances.
The city of Austin is aiming to open 6th Street to vehicle traffic this weekend and protect pedestrians along that busy stretch. Crews installed this fencing today to give people wider walkways and separate them from the street. Rubber bumpers are also already up in some places, and some street parking will no longer be offered. And today our team also spotted these known as Meridian barriers in that area.
APD says they're removing these barriers, though, from 6th Street because of the new traffic flow, but will still use them during big crowds, festivals, and events. KXAN investigator Matt Grant learned these are the same security devices now in use after the New Orleans terror attack.
Vehicle stopping devices now deployed in New Orleans after a truck rammed through a Bourbon Street crowd, killing 14 and injuring nearly 60.
So we have found those funds. I am happy to report that.
This week, police in Austin said they'll be using the portable steel barriers here too, downtown and at other critical sites, including utilities like Austin Energy. They're part of a plan the city says was already in the works before the New Orleans attack.
And certainly the New Orleans incident has escalated the need, and I think it has just quite clearly shown how these things could happen and how they can help. The Meridian barricades could help.
The maker, California-based Meridian Rapid Defense Group, says Austin is looking to purchase enough to cover 15 blocks. The company says each 700-pound barrier will cost around $6,500.
Those devices are going to be purchased with the intent of keeping some of our soft targets safe in any kind of pedestrian area.
The cost for protective barriers could have been offset through federal grants. In 2021, Congress authorized $25 million for local governments to install bollards, these crash-rated pole-like structures to protect pedestrians from crashes and terror attacks. But we found lawmakers never actually funded that provision of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act.
I'm honored to be here on behalf of the great city of Austin.
This week, Austin Mayor Pro Tem Vanessa Fuentes testified before a Congressional Transportation Committee about the need to reauthorize the act.
There's a lot we can do on hardening our infrastructure, our physical infrastructure.
Though she did not bring up bollards specifically,
oh my gosh,
it's an issue she knows well.
This is why we need policies updated.
Fuentes co-sponsored Austin's recently passed law requiring crash-rated bollards at all new hospitals, a direct response to our investigation of a deadly crash at St. David's North Austin Medical Center last year, one of more than 400 similar incidents we found nationwide over the past decade. Many of those sites lacked bollards. Fuentes is not the only current Austin City Council member who's considered investing in these security devices. Zoe Kadri's office tells me he's looking at not just bollards, but these Meridian barriers, not just here in downtown, but anywhere in the city that it makes sense, telling me, quote, it's only one step of many to come. In downtown Austin, Matt Grant, KXAN Investigates.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. And we reached out to APD to ask how many Meridian barriers the city is buying and where they'll be placed exactly and how much this could cost. We're still waiting to hear back. The barrier maker says the city is finalizing the purchase and has been renting the devices for the past few years, just on a smaller scale.
Today, the Austin Police Department told the Downtown Austin Alliance that downtown staffing has dropped at an alarming rate to 65%, but that was mainly because police officers are getting promoted. And according to APD, the police chief is working on a plan to get more officers downtown. At today's Downtown Austin Alliance monthly meeting, APD said while there are fewer officers, the department's data shows police are making more arrests downtown.
When I first started on night shift here, we had shootings all the time on 6th Street. The officers have really taken that to heart. They're doing what they can to try to get as many guns off the street as they can. They've gotten so good that, they recognize people as frequent drug dealers, always possessing weapons, and they'll make the same arrest on the same person multiple times a year.
NAPD's data also shows vehicle thefts and car burglaries dropped between 2023 and 2024.
Outside right now, it is cool, but it is not cold. Most of us are in the 40s and some low 50s in spots like you in Blanco, even some 30s in Georgetown. But temperatures will not drop much more than they have already. That's because cloud cover is quickly coming in from the west and southwest, and it will act somewhat like a blanket to keep the heat in and stop temperatures and the heat from radiating out the rest of the night. So as these clouds come in, your temperature drop is going to come to a halt. We expect overnight lows in Austin get down to 43 with the increasing cloud cover, and we expect a lot of low 40s throughout much of the area, but a few low 30s in some isolated spots. So not quite as cold of a night tonight as what we had last night, and of course that means a slightly warmer morning for you. Coming up in First Warning Weather, we'll show you some of you who may get into the 70s tomorrow, what should be the warmest day for the next week, because we got a cold front coming in Saturday that will show its coldest air, but not until beginning on Sunday. And we'll highlight the best chance that you may see some wintry precipitation where you live. Well, the same weather pattern bringing our freezing temperatures next week is also bringing back dangerous fire conditions to areas in Southern California next Monday and Tuesday. Today, the winds died down and created a window for firefighters to get a bit of an upper hand on their attack. The Palisades fire is now 22% contained. The Eaton blaze is at 55% containment, while the Hearst wildfire is now contained at 98%. And when you look at the aftermath from above, neighborhoods look like they were flattened after a tornado. The number of people killed because of these wildfires is now up to 27, and there are currently 31 people missing.
This is not good. This is bad. The whole home just...
You know why this is not good? The new concern, mudslides. A Los Angeles County home barely spared from the Palisades fire was hit by a mudslide, splitting the house in two. The mud debris from the hillside came crashing down and pushed the home off of its foundation.
All right, Nick, thank you. The Texas truck driver charged in the deaths of 53 migrants pleaded guilty today.
And the group of people were found inside a sweltering tractor trailer with no air conditioning. The deaths in 2022 became the nation's deadliest smuggling attempt across the U.S.-Mexico border. Camaro Zamorano Jr. pleaded guilty in federal court in San Antonio and is set to be sentenced in April. The Justice Department says he could face a maximum sentence of life in prison.
Now, investigators say temperatures reached 100 degrees while migrants screamed and banged on the walls of the trailer for help. Police also said Zamorano and other men charged in the case knew the trailer's AC was malfunctioning.
New tonight, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says a deal to return Hamas-held hostages in the Gaza Strip has been reached and that his cabinet is meeting tomorrow to approve the ceasefire agreement. The announcement came a day after Netanyahu's office said his cabinet would delay the vote because of last-minute snags. The agreement is split in 3 phases. The first one calls for an increase of aid into Gaza and Israeli troops withdrawing to a border buffer zone. The plan also includes exchanging Palestinian prisoners for 33 women, children, elderly, and injured hostages held in Gaza, including 2 Americans, a man in his 60s and a young father wounded in the October 7th Hamas attack. Here's what the father of the young man says is keeping him going.
Sagi entering some room or a hallway somewhere, I hope and pray on his own 2 feet. And his 3 little girls now, one of whom he's never met, run and leap into his arms.
Israeli soldiers, other male hostages, and the remains of those killed would be released in later phases.
President Joe Biden will not enforce a ban on the social media app TikTok that's set to take effect this Sunday. A U.S. official said the president is leaving TikTok's fate in the hands of President-elect Donald Trump. Trump, who once called for the ban, has since pledged to keep the app available in the U.S., but his transition team has not said how they plan to accomplish that. The U.S. Supreme Court has yet to rule on the constitutionality of the ban. Elon Musk will be among the speakers at the president-elect's pre-inauguration rally in Washington on Sunday. Musk spent more than $250 million on the 2024 election and appeared at Trump campaign rallies. And the president-elect picked Musk as the co-chair of what he calls the Department of Government Efficiency to cut government regulations and spending and also downsize the federal workforce.
An Austin man wanted for the city's second homicide of the year was arrested today at a bus stop. The U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force made that arrest. Bonner is accused in the death of a woman found on Manor Road on January 9th, and police say he was arrested without incident. Construction can resume at an industrial park in Bee Cave after a Travis County judge's ruling this week.
Now, we previously told you how the city of Bee Cave sued the developer to stop the nearly 270,000 square foot business park off of Highway 71. Online plans show the property would have 80 docking bays for big rigs, also warehouse space and offices. The city claimed noise and light pollution from construction was keeping neighbors up at night. And last October, a judge approved a temporary restraining order to pause construction. But as we just mentioned, this latest ruling now allows the work to continue.
Well, the judge warned the developer Velasquez about violating city noise ordinances. One neighbor we spoke with is disappointed with this ruling.
We know it limits some of the conduct, but it's not quite enough. It's bigger than just the noise. In addition to the traffic, the impact and condition of the roads will be impacted, the air quality, and our traffic is already bad.
In a statement, a partner at Velasquez said they're committed to finding a, quote, quick resolution to any outstanding concerns. A trial is set for August, and developers expect construction to reach substantial completion by March.
An Austin animal shelter says it's moving to layoffs so it can continue its life-saving work.
And Nabil Ramanda explains how many people will be affected and why the move was made.
At Austin Pets Alive, you'll find dogs and cats who are looking for a new home. But now some of the people who care for those animals will have to find a new place to work. On Thursday, Austin Pets Alive announced they plan to reduce their workforce due to what they called economic challenges, laying off about 20 staff members. It's unclear which positions will be cut at this time. But in a statement, the nonprofit told us, quote, "This is heartbreaking because we have worked so hard to support our workers through a rapid change in the Austin cost of living. However, to maintain our life-saving work, we had to reduce our staffing by 10%. The statement went on to say that all employees would receive severance packages and career assistance. Last year, animal shelter employees filed to become the largest animal shelter union in the country. Some of their asks included wage increases, benefits, and fair employment practices. Last year, the shelter moved out of its decades-old facility, the old city shelter on Lady Bird Lake, ahead of renovations. They moved into 2 buildings near Sunset Valley. The APA shelter is going through a 4-phase plan to expand its facilities. The organization is seeking to raise about $44 million for the projects. Nabil Ramadna, KXAN News.
As part of a bigger plan, the nonprofit will rebuild its adoption and foster center at the Old Town Lake shelter site. APA also wanted to build 3 additional facilities across the Austin area.
Well, the latest SpaceX launch didn't go quite as planned today. SpaceX's 7th test of its massive Starship started out smoothly with the rocket lifting off and then its booster returning to land intact at the launch site. That worked pretty well. But then shortly after, the Starship disappeared and SpaceX lost contact. And video like this from people online showed streaks in the sky over Turks and Caicos and what appeared to be flaming debris. You can hear people screaming. SpaceX posted on X that Starship had experienced a, quote, rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Earlier tonight, Elon Musk posted they think it was an oxygen or fuel leak. Nobody was on board Starship, which is still being tested for future missions to the moon and beyond.
All right, Nick Bannon joining us right now to break down the cold for us.
Yes, the cold comes first.
Okay.
Then we get a couple of days of that cold and then the potential for some wintry precipitation. So let's break it on down first for you. The Arctic cold front comes in Saturday early in the morning, but it's not going to be all that cold on Saturday. Temperatures will drop at first, but then they'll rebound. Until Sunday. That's when we'll really start to feel the impacts of that Saturday front. And we'll have morning freezes every single day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and those look widespread. As far as wintry precipitation, the best chances you have of seeing that where you live, the second half of Monday into Monday night and Tuesday, especially Tuesday morning. But the moisture itself appears light. That would keep any accumulation amounts of sleet, snow, or even freezing rain on the lighter side, the way things are looking now. But the precipitation type, still too early to tell. We are not yet within range of our higher resolution computer models that can see into Monday evening and Monday night just yet. We will be, though, over the weekend, so keep checking back. Here's what's happening now. Clouds are quickly coming in from the west and southwest. Even see a few moisture returns showing up on radar. Yes, there's a tiny little chance for a sprinkle tomorrow, but most of you will just see the clouds coming in, and it will be a mostly cloudy day. There may be some breaks in the clouds that start to open up in the afternoon in the hill country. Those may not quite get to the metro in time for us to see sunshine. It'll be a close call. As far as your forecast then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, but warmer, 68. That's thanks to a warmer wind out of the south and southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then there's that tiny little chance for a sprinkle. Temperatures across the state generally in the 40s with some 50s south of us. We will be well into the 60s, if not some 70s here tomorrow afternoon where the sun comes out in the hill country. But let's track the arrival of that front. Saturday morning, first few minutes, first couple hours of the day, here comes that front moving in. Yes, initially it brings colder air. 40s and 30s to begin your morning Saturday. But with plenty of sunshine, temperatures do bounce back. Upper 50s and low 60s by Saturday afternoon. But then a reinforcing shot of colder air comes in Saturday night, and that's when you really start to feel it Sunday morning with a widespread freeze expected then, and temperatures only getting into the low 40s here Sunday afternoon. So despite the front on Saturday, you can still get out and enjoy the day. It will be a bit breezy, though. Both days of the weekend will be breezy, but Sunday's the colder day, although, as they always say, there's no such thing as bad weather. It's just weather that you're not properly dressed for. The coldest high temperatures of the next week, Monday at 39 and then Tuesday at 38 before we warm up. But nighttime lows will be well down in the mid-20s to upper 20s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. So widespread hard freezes. We could have some wind chills in the single digits or teens during that period before we start to claw our way out. Now, moisture is going to try to come in from the south later in the day on Monday, bringing us our highest chances for a wintry mix Monday night, early Tuesday morning before it pulls away. There may not be a lot of moisture to deal with, though, and if that's the case, we may not get a whole lot of wintry mix at all. That's why our wintry mix chances so far are on the low side. 30% Monday afternoon, 40% Monday night, and then down to 30% during the day on Tuesday. So Monday night, early Tuesday morning has the highest chances of wintry precipitation where you are. Here's a look at our first warning weather 7-day forecast. Climbing out into the 40s on Wednesday and a chance of plain old regular rain on Thursday.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
I know what's coming, but you can talk about it and talk about it all you want until you experience it. You know, it's just a talk.
Mick Schaefer always good for a soundbite. He knows what the SEC is all about, having coached in the league for women's basketball for years. But his players are learning. Texas's first year in the conference and a big loss to the class of the conference, South Carolina, over the weekend was a lesson. Today, a chance to show what they learned on the road against Auburn and old friend Deanna Gaston, former Longhorn, and the Auburn Tigers, and their coach, Johnny Harris, who coached with Vic Schaefer in Texas and a number of other places. So some familiarity on the Auburn side. We'll start in the first quarter. Shea Holly, steal and score for the local product spoiler. Texas won, and she became the all-time winningest player in Texas history. How about that for number 10? Second quarter, Texas went on a 13-0 run to really separate. Didn't look back from there. Rory Harmon, part of it. Her jumper right here, part of her 20 points. Then end of the third quarter, Rory Harmon triple, just kept on rolling. 20 points is great. Only behind the 22 of Madison Booker, gets it to go here in the fourth, and Texas gets back on track with a big win over Auburn.
I was just constantly saying, like, put your foot on their neck and keep it there because they're going to try to come back. And they did a little bit, but I think we, had some really good executions and had some good defensive stops, but also boxing out was a really good key factor of that game, too.
Proud of them. It's a win on the road in the SEC. We'll take it. And congratulations to Shea Holly, the all-time winningest basketball player in the history of Texas.
That'll surely make head coach Vic Schaefer smile. Next against Maryland in a non-conference battle. Let's go to the Texas men. Big win against Oklahoma. Watch Rodney Terry here in the corner. So emotional on every play. Can't believe that one. A little bit later, similar things, and it's just kind of hanging in every possession. Wait for it. There's the jump at the end. Gotta love the emotion from your coach in a big game for this Texas team. Texas was up big against Oklahoma on the road. Both teams looking for their first conference win. Sooners cut it to 2 late, but Texas was able to hold on in large part thanks to Jordan Pope. The Oregon State transfer has been so impactful for this group, and he showed it a night ago.
I just had to find a way to make an impact on the game. You know, they went on a good run, but we stayed poised. I stayed poised. You know, I trust my work, so I knew it was going to come down to a couple plays. I know I had to insert myself, and once I did, you know, it kind of slowed their little avalanche that they had down, and kind of got the ball rolling for me and my group. But yeah, I'm glad we were able to withstand that.
Next, they head to Gainesville to play Florida. Time to nail this name, folks. Austin FC staying busier than your finance bro friend, or for me, finance bro cousin. Continuing to reshape the roster with adding, ready? Nicholas Dubersarski. Just easy, flowing right off the tongue. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, other Nick. Yeah, they're already calling him Nicholas Bannon Dubersarski. More on the Argentinian now. 20 years old, coming over from the team, let's see, Instituto, there, 2 for 2 there. 5-year contract, guaranteed deal, and he joins Austin FC. And the sporting director, Rodolfo Borrell, says, quote, he has ability beyond his years and can contribute immediately to our squad. So a big ad for the Verde and Black. More on him and more on a bunch of other sports over on KXAN.com.